I'm going to be so mad if this audio isn't working. It better be. It is. I think it's working. Hello, you guys. Oh my God. I thought I would tidy up my room today. I'm doing so amazing. Hello, bot. Hello, bot. I'm not sure if I should mention it on the Discord. I probably should. Let me just get it going here. Okay. I'm just doing that. I'm doing it gay style. I'm not going to be that deep with it. So it's poppin'. Bolt, are you enjoying Virgo time? I know you are, but it's your time of the year. This has to be like the best time ever. Gosh. Oh shit. I keep sitting on this needle. It's gonna go up my butt at some point. Okay, I'm gonna make my bed. Now I got like super neurotic. I'm not sure what's popping on my side. Yes, hello Goblin. And yes, Caleb, I know. Caleb was just telling me that he's a Gen Z daddy, basically. I'm not sure about Virgo time yet. We're halfway through. Oh my God. That will not happen, Caleb. We're staying tame. No, I don't know about tame, but gosh, I don't know how to describe it. Virgo season for me is I'm doing kind of okay, but also not well. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not sure. Oh, you read that. Wow, Rip. Rest in peace. If he has gone vegan, then my Nico being an undercover vegan vid will go well. Oh my God. Am I telling you lies? I'm telling you lies. You weren't just telling me that you're a stripper? No, I'm just kidding. And I saw Caleb's style. I saw his fashion. It's giving Gen Z. And he got mad. He's like, how dare you say that? And I'm like, no, I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm just kidding. I'm so like, oh my God, I literally feel like I'm shaking right now. This is really gay. Jeez, why am I nervous? Breathe. I was also bitching to Bot about how my dopamine is so low. I feel like I'm going insane. And my estrogen is so high. And everything's really shitty on a physical level. VL, I have like a lot of reservations about talking about him because I really think it's just, oh my God. You better come back. You'll be back, Caleb. You'll be back. You can't stay away. So what I will say, VL, is I think it's a lot of toxic ritualistic behavior either way. So whether he's gaining or he's losing, it's the same thing. He's always had an issue. It hasn't changed. And yeah, I think it's really weird. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm just like, we'll see. We'll see. Estrogen is the devil. We hate her. We don't hate estrogen. We just hate how high it is. That's all. That's all. Hey, Sin. Maybe you could try L-theanine to bring up your dopamine. I don't know how it affects serotonin. I know. I really need to get more herbs, but I can't afford anything. It's not cute. You better be back, Kayla. It isn't cute. It's really not cute to have the serotonin stuff because lately I've been trending towards self-hatred. So I had another self-hate episode last night, which is really great. Totally no confidence, totally like, you're never going to find anyone, like you're never going to be with anybody. Nothing's ever going to work. Like really going into that mindset really beautifully. You'll be single forever, blah, blah, like all that stuff was going into my mind last night. And then I don't think it was as much about body issues, which I think is good for me to not focus on that. But it was just like, Oh, I have no confidence at all. I have no confidence whatsoever. Um, so I think Virgo has stripped me of everything. Basically, that's what I will say. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. I have just enough money and time so I can ruminate about how much I hate myself. So I'm like, ooh, that's a little tough. At least the elections, they're going to do the debate so I can start looking at the election rather than myself because it's like, ooh, this is not it. This is not it at all. Um, Probably worse for men. The estrogen, oh yes, 100%. 100%. Veal now, how will the FA guys milk the Nico situation? I don't know. I think they're going to try to be like, he was just playing. He wasn't fat his whole life. You know what? I think I can come up with the excuses with my toxic Virgo mindset. They will say he was just pretending to be fat, or he hasn't been fat his whole life, so he doesn't understand. He probably was on Ozempic, or he has toxic ritualistic behaviors that got him to that and he'll go back up. That's what they'll say. Because some of that I don't necessarily disagree with. Like, I agree with the final one. I do think he has issues because whether he's eating so much or he's not eating at all, it's a lot there. I would just say my personal opinion is he's probably really crazy to be around. And if he's going back to mukbangs, then that is a risk for relapse. That's what I will say. But that's just what I see. It's fine. Do what you do. Like, I think it's better that he's not super morbidly obese. I just hope that he can stay down, and I hope that he settles for a while and can get his marbles back, if that makes sense. That's my opinion. But the thing that freaked me out when he was I watched some of the video is just how his whole personality's changed, and it's oh, that's it's a little creepy. I went through that in my 20s, self-hatred and no men in my life. Yes. Well, I told it. I was talking to Eric on the phone and I was like, I'm fat, single, and broke. It's that's a really harsh thing. That is not a fun way of living. To wake up every day and you're fat, single, and broke. It's ooh, gosh, it's I can hear the Gen Z shotgun noises on TikTok. It's you're fat, you're single, you're broke. It's just ooh. Ooh, gosh, I feel like I have that on the back of my eyelids when I lay down to go to bed. I see that. I'm like, ooh, Caleb says Alex is just jealous of my customers. Caleb is just milking things for tips, and I'm just kidding. Osen says, hey, I wanted to ask you, my body's having problems with animal protein. It started this week. Damn it. I don't know, Sin. You might need less. I'm not sure. I don't really know. But it's either that or it's digestive issues. Yeah, I'm sure it does, Sin. He lost weight super fast. It seems dangerous for the body. I just think he does, it's dangerous either way. It's dangerous to be that big. It's dangerous to lose weight fast. It's dangerous all around. I just know from the weight loss aspects, from being that big, it was probably a very guttural experience, what he did to get down. I don't know what he did. I do believe he could have done it through straight up willpower. I'm not going to automatically assume that he was on Ozempic or whatever, because he was vegan for years. He has willpower. And I think he's a very ambitious person, but I'm just sure that there was a guttural experience, if that makes sense, where he was it was probably horrible. It was probably very grueling. And then he cut his hair because he probably lost it, or he was losing it. Because I'm going through that too. That's my projections anyways. The thins, LOL. Single broke. Yeah, that's true. But it's bad. It's even worse to be fat on top of it. You have to admit, Sin. His personality online is a persona character. Have you ever seen Jason Strom out of character? It's equally Suki. Yeah, I agree with that. I know that it's a character for sure. I need less, I think. I felt better within the last 2 days eating vegetables, eggs, and dairy, no headaches. Yeah. He was so thin before gaining weight. So as amusing as it is, it's not quite the same thing as someone who is overweight a long time. That's kind of my stance on it too, and that's what FAs will say. So that's what they're going to say. So I don't think I'm going to talk about it on my channel because I don't have rosy things to say, and I think there's just a lot of mystery behind it. And so I'm just going to let it be, basically. But he lost it. He lost most of it in the last 7 months. So, which again, it's in our culture, it's seen as impressive and it's seen as all these things. But to me, I see it as possibly unsustainable, or, there was probably some health stuff on the way back out, because I think about like what I'm going through and I'm losing at a slow, sustainable pace. And I still am like this dopamine issues, like these nightmares, like waking up from nightmares. I woke up from nightmares 3 days in a row. So it's like the mental health aspect of it is really difficult. And I get it. Like I was fat most of my life and blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's different. But, and maybe he's not as emotional as I am. Like that's probably true. I'm a very emotional person. But again, like a lot of people that struggle with weight, they're very emotional. So I don't think it would necessarily apply to a lot of people, because he probably just shuts off his emotions and he can just be like, I'm not eating. I don't care if I'm hungry, that kind of thing, which, yeah, that's my opinion. It's really hard to gain weight without seed oils. I've been eating a lot of calories and maintaining. Yes, that's true. That's great. Alex was suggesting. I was not suggesting that, Caleb. I would never push somebody to do that, despite what you may think, Caleb. Despite what you may think. Okay? Okay. Nice spot. I'm not gonna encourage it. I'm OnlyFans neutral. That's what we'll say. That's the new stance. I'm neutral because I think for me, I understand the economic issues and stuff. And so I just understand it a bit more. Like I said, I had kind of some realizations this year where I was like, oh, like the whole world is falling apart. Like I kind of understand. But I would never do it. Personally, I would never do it. Ever. Nice spot. I've been off them for a long time unless I make a mistake and eat processed foods. Hello. Yeah. 5'6" also, and he looks about 130 in his recent video. Interesting. Oh, you are? Okay. Interesting. That's good, Sin. I need to stay off him too. Yes, you do, but definitely. Are you getting enough magnesium? I don't know. I do not know, but I cannot afford supplements. I have to get my stinging nettle root. That's the one that I have to have. Otherwise, I go totally nuts. That's kind of like the one that I need to have, basically. I won't even pretend not to take it at this point, but I can't afford supplements. Like, I can't. So it's like, good luck in the Biden economy. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not going to, I don't have any wiggle room at all to be like, oh, I'm going to get all these supplements. Like, I need to get some herbs. I think I'm going to shoot to get them for the winter because I want to continue. And I know when I took ashwagandha, I was able to continue to lose longer, like at least until December. So I think I'm going to get ashwagandha, but it's not that expensive. It has to be KSM 66 ashwagandha though. But it's not that much of a supply. Like when I get the stinging nettle root extract, it's like 100 pills. So it lasts me like 3 months. But the ashwagandha is only 30, so it only lasts a month. So I'm like, ugh. So I have to kind of prioritize that kind of stuff. As my mom is pushing magnesium too, but I'm just like, I have coffee every day that has magnesium. I've been having orange juice that has magnesium. I do get some, you know what I mean? It's harder to gain without seed oils. I'm like a pig at a trough on my recent vacation. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love that. I love that. I'm making this bigger. I ate like a pig at a trough on my recent vacation, and I came back home, and 2 days later, I was right back in the range I was maintaining. Oh yeah, totally. Well, that's why, like, I'm so sad that people fear weight gain and stuff, and they're really like scared, and people are just like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know. It's so hard not to be fat, and blah blah blah. And it's like it really isn't if you're just not eating seed oils. Like, I think a lot of the assumptions about weight and health and weight loss and sustainability of weight loss, they're made with the assumption that you're going to eat 5 billion pounds of seed oils a day the rest of your life. Like, if you just cut it out, it just changes. And a lot of people, they don't like it when you say that, but it makes sense if you really think about it. Like, the kind of fat that you're eating, it's stored on you and it affects you because it's in your body long term. So if you cut it out long term, then it has huge effects. Like, I do think I'm losing a lot right now at this moment, which is why I'm losing my hair. I'm having all these estrogen issues because my metabolism is faster because I haven't been eating them forever. I've been almost 4 years off of them. That's a long fucking time. So my whole body is very different than it was 4 years ago. And part of that is the metabolism starts to speed up. And it's like, I'm not hungry. I have energy. I'm burning the fat on me. Like, when you're really fat and your metabolism is working, you're not hungry because you have access to so many calories. That's like a natural response of the body. It makes sense. You know, if I was at Goblin's level, which Goblin's trying to lose, I don't think Goblin is that fat. Like, if you can say, how much do you weigh? Like, I'm curious, but when you're lower on the scale of fatness, then yes, it's harder. Like, you're going to be hungrier because you don't have all this excess energy on your body. Like I do. I'm still morbidly obese, although just barely. But when I went to LA, I poofed up a lot. Like, I went to like 285 again. And then I lost like, I'd say half of it. Like, I probably got to I lost like 4 or 5 pounds really fast. And then now today I was like 277. So I'm pretty much almost back to where I was. But yeah, I mean, I ate a lot when I was on vacation. But again, when you're fat like that, you just put on weight easy, you put it off easy. Like, it's different. It's just different. It comes and goes really fast. Oh my gosh, Caleb. I will never, ever go on OnlyFans. I have never subscribed to anybody on OnlyFans. I'm not going to do it. It will not happen. But yes, I am OnlyFans neutral. I have updated my perspective, but it doesn't mean that I will ever be on it, and it doesn't mean that I will ever subscribe on it. Those two things are never going to happen. I met a guy who was 18 or 19. Let me see. Oh, I missed some of this. Went from 150 kilograms to 75 kilograms. I need that in freedom units. I don't understand kilograms. In 8 months, he was jacked. Medical student reckons it was just keto, but said it was sketchy to do it so fast. Yeah, I mean, if you're really young, you can kind of take a punch, but it still has a mental health effect, I'm sure. It's just probably not as dramatic, like doing it at 29. And like for me, it's like I was so obese for such a long time. I think it's just way too much for the brain. Goblin, I'm talking about sea nettle root extract, and then I'm going to take probably pine pollen, which boosts testosterone just a little tiny bit, but it has a lot of nutrients in it too, which it's so low of a testosterone a woman could take it. Like, it's not like I'm taking steroids or anything. And then the other thing is probably ashwagandha. And then the only other thing I might consider is if I got, I think it's Polyrhacus black ant or something. It has a lot of zinc in it, and I would be eating the bugs if I do that because it's like a powder. I've gotten it before, but that's the only bug I'm going to eat. Because yes, it is ants. Sin says, I have to supplement with mag oxide calcitrol and vitamin D3. It had a lot to do with kidney disease and now stabilizing my new kidney. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you have to do what you got to do because you're in a very specific situation. Goblin says, and honestly, seed oils aren't even tasty. All the good fats taste the best. That's true. That's so true. Like I always used to say, like, you never like smell canola oil and be like, that's so canola-y. It's like you say, no, that's so buttery. That smells so buttery. It smells good. I ate homemade cake and ice cream and peanut butter shakes for 2 days and I didn't gain weight without the seed oils. It's cool. Yes, you're going to be fine. You can even do some stuff that I can't. Like I wouldn't have peanuts right now for me, but I still have to be really, really strict because as you can see, like I'm on edge, especially if I'm waking up from nightmares every night. It's like, ooh, I'm really edgy right now, like, ooh, like I don't want to spiral. I don't want to have like these emotional freakouts and stuff because it's like not healthy to do that. So I'm trying to like, I have to be more in control of my mind because especially in morbid obesity rather than super, my mind has a heavy effect on my body now. Like the mind body connection is really important because my hormones are still fried. So if I think about something too much, it can push me over the edge. Like I can start spiraling, or if I think really negatively, I can spiral. So I have to be like really in control of my mind. And like last night when I was trying to go to sleep, I was like, I know this is hormonal. Like this is a hormonal thing. Like you need to calm down. Basically, like I was just like literally communicating with myself and being like, this is just hormones. Like just go to sleep, basically. And I went to bed earlier and I slept longer. I slept like 7 hours, which I never sleep that much. Since this hypothyroidism can cause hair loss, it had it happen after the kidney transplant. I had to take my thyroid medication down. Oh yeah, and I had other hyper symptoms. Oh, interesting. Hyperthyroid. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Sure, I'm 164, 165, and 5'10". Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be challenging for you, Goblin. Like that's because you're probably what, like 20 pounds away or something like that. Like that's a hard amount of weight to lose. Like you typically have to go to the gym a lot. Because Eric is kind of in that category where he's trying to lose like 20 pounds or something. And he has to go to the gym all the time. And you basically have to work it off. Like you have to think about, because otherwise you're like too hungry, because you don't have tons and tons of fat to work on or to work with. So don't think I'm like superhuman Goblin, because Goblin was telling me like her calories and stuff. And I was eating less, fine. But it's like, yeah, because I have all this fat on me. So obviously I have energy to use. So my body is like whatever. Of course, it's like toxic, horrible fat energy, which is why I'm going crazy. But it's there, the hunger just isn't there. I gained 10K in the last 2 months. Let me see. Oh, goodness. I am like, okay, I gained 10K in the last 2 months just by eating like shit. Yeah, that's really bad. Beer will definitely help you gain weight. That's a good weight, Goblin. You may be too light. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I assure you I have excess fat to lose. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but you're not going to have to lose that much. It's probably going to be like 10 pounds or 20 pounds tops. Like I can't think of it being more than that, which that last 20 pounds is really difficult. And I know it'll be hard for me too. But I'm already like, I know I'm going to have to take on an advanced fitness routine probably next year. And I'm just like, ugh, because I'm good with being average right now. But I'm like, I can do an average fitness routine and still lose quite a bit. But if I'm going to have to go really hard next year, probably. Caleb says, I'm 73 kilograms currently, was 53 kilograms in 2020, severely underweight. Oh my gosh. I'm still trying to process. I only speak in freedom units. So I'm like, Bubble likes my freedom units. When I got out of the hospital, I was 180, and 10 months later, I'm 165. Oh yeah, I think that's a good weight. NutriCross vitamins on Amazon are a good price if you need supplements. Interesting, but Sin says I don't like bugs. That's because you hate the environment and you hate, you want everyone to die soon. That's why. Caleb says 73 kilograms, 160 pounds is 160 pounds and 53 is 160. Oh, wow. That's a drastic difference. See how I can like actually understand? I think 160 is definitely a good weight for you, Caleb. Pounds are so confusing, archaic unit of measurement. Well, they came from your place, VL. So you have no right to complain. Y'all even call it your money. Your quid is pounds. So you have no right to criticize freedom units. Anyways, pancakes cooked in ghee are so good. I'm sure they are, but I gained most of my weight eating chips and pizza. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you did. That's very hypo-y. The chips, anyway. Is your blood glucose dropping at night? I get nightmares when that happens. It could be. I mean, I am in a deficit and I'm active, you know, because I have like hypoventilation too, which it does tend to be tied to low blood sugar, but oh well, I'm not eating. I don't really care what the scale says, honestly. If I was 165 and 22% body fat, I'd be thrilled. Right. Right. I think that would be good, Goblin. I look like I'm a dying skeleton at 140. Oh my gosh. So maybe I should focus more on building muscle and recouping, though I do need to remove some fat. Yeah, and you can. If you have at least a slight deficit, you can. Oh my gosh, you're not the first. No worries. I love that. Oh my gosh. I read that aspirin can help oppose estrogen, by the way, and that's cheap. It's, yeah, I've taken it. I take it sometimes when I'm having a migraine. That's usually my go-to when I'm having a migraine is aspirin, and it works. So I might be something. It is cheap. That might be something I could take at night. Especially I've heard it's good at night because your hormones go to shit at night, basically, or they get worse at night. That's also why I'm like in my self-hate era right before I'm going to sleep, because it's like, you know, it's really harsh. But I did go up a bit at the gym in weight, but only in my biceps and triceps. Because I don't know, at Planet Fatness, when you go up in your arms, like the arm machines, they're all 5 pounds of a difference. So it's really harsh to go up. I'm like, because it's like 5 pounds each arm. And so I'm like, I have to go slow with that. That's a lot for me to go up. I was like, ugh. But some of the machines, it's like 2.5. So I'm going up in the 2.5 zone. So I'm going to go up in legs too, which I usually get really crazy when I go up in legs. I go up like when I go up in legs, my whole brain is like shattered the next day. It's like, and that's usually when I have to watch a horror movie and stuff, which I'm going to this Monday. So I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, probably go up in weights for lower body and abs. And then I'm going to be like, probably on Monday, I'm going to be like, I call it prophecy mode, which I should probably do a stream in that mode just so you guys can kind of see it. But I don't know if I can, because it's kind of like I just get really, really obsessed. Like I start to fixate and I go into that prophecy mode. But if I ever do, there's a Taylor Swift song called Prophecy. I will use a lyric from that when I do it, if I do it. But I'm probably not going to on Monday because I'm going to be talking to Eric. But it's good to have friends, you guys. And we're going to watch a horror movie. We're going to watch Tarot, which is really gay. It looks like a really gay horror movie, but I guess we'll just pretend that I'm the main character because, as you guys know, look at this. Look at this deck. Look at how used it is. It's terrible. It's terrible. Eric always tells me I'm doing Satanism every time I do it. He's atheist. He has no right to be, he has zero right to be judging me when he's gay Sydney Watson. And he told me something so whorish last night on the phone. And I was like, Eric, you are Sydney. I was like, okay, Sydney. Okay. Like he said something like he would hook up with a drug addict, not a drug addict. He's like, I mean, if you want to be with like a gangbanger kind of guy or whatever for one night, but there's no relationship in it or whatever. He's like, I get that. And I was like, I was like, oh my gosh. It was something like that. I was like, okay, Sydney, all right. So Little Miss Atheist lecturing me on my cards. Bubblelandia says, this is morbid, but I thought of Richard Simmons passing. Oh my gosh, the new Supreme. Oh my God, that is morbid. Oh my gosh. Well, apparently he was really like, don't you dare say I'm gay kind of thing. 1 kilogram, 1 liter of water. Oh my gosh, stop it, VL. I'm a Freedom Unit supporter. Freedom Units, period. Don't mess with me. A pound is how much a duck weighs. Okay, good. 1 duck. Period. It makes sense. I love it an inch too. It's my favorite. Love inches and feet. I need to take out my girly pop pumpkin moment. I think it's time, you guys. I just don't know where to put it. I should probably put it on my bed, but I need to vacuum it because it's probably dusty. Overtime. Oh my God, VL. I shouldn't be doing this when you're talking about that. Anyways, I like maybe 8. No, I'm just kidding. You're such a bitch, VL. I'm just kidding. Okay, or am I? You'll never know. Speculation. So I need to introduce you guys to Gabriella. She's named Gabriella after oh gosh, I almost started talking like I have a speech impediment. She's named Gabriella after High School Musical. Okay. And my cousin gave her to me because my cousin obviously killed her. It's not your fault, Gabriella. But I think it's a Monjaro. I don't know. Monjaro. It's a Monjaro plant. It helps you lose weight. I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's kind of a lower light plant. And so I can put her there in that spot, which it's not like the most well-lit area. Monstera, yeah. Yes, Caleb. Yes, Gen Z Daddy Caleb has to correct me. But yes. So, anyways, Gabriella's getting her shit together. She has to recover, and she's doing fine there because my cousin put her in a spot where there was absolutely no light at all. But I don't know if you can't really see it on camera, but there is like a shadow. So that one, if it has a shadow, it's enough, definitely. So I'm like, okay. And then we have our new plant. This one is Sabrina. So she's named after Sabrina Carpenter because apparently she was freaking out my cousin. And so she was like, the texture's freaking me out because my cousin's postpartum. So I think she's just like weirded out by stuff. And so she's like, the plant is kind of freaking me out. She's like, you can take her or you can take it. And I named her Sabrina because she's going to grow. She's going to grow and grow. And then she's going to like take over everything. So she'll surpass Taylor one day. Just kidding. Oh, you know what it's called? Caleb, the Gen Z plant daddy and plant expert. I need to show you what else I got. Hold on. My cousin is she's postpartum. She had a baby. She's dealing with being a mommy, an actual mama. So oh my gosh. I had to give away my plants recently, 2 pickup trucks full of cactuses. Some I had grown from tiny to giant over 6 years. I know, you said that once, and that's sad. That's a long time. Sabrina needs protection from harsh sunlight. Oh, really? Ooh, I might need to put her somewhere else then. So that's kind of It's a sunny area, but it is not as summery. I need to get you I need to show you guys my last gift my cousin gave me. I'll be back, but I'm nervous. I'm like, do I have anything weird? Any social security numbers hanging out? Do I have any drug or sex paraphernalia hanging out anywhere? I don't think so. Any roaches? I don't think so. I'll be back, you guys. I'm gonna get my thing. Oh my gosh. Gosh, the stairs are just not, I'm never going to get used to the stairs. I don't know how. I can't at this point. Man. Morning sunlight but needs afternoon shade. I see a printout of my picture. Oh my God. Wow, Caleb. Okay. So this is like perfectly non-offensive. No genders are assumed in the making of this pillow. But I kind of love. So this is also what my cousin got me or gave me for my birthday. So I'm going to put this on my bed. I was like, thank you so much. I'm like, it's great for branding. I was like, that's great for branding. Like, can totally have that in my videos or on my streams or whatever. So eventually I'll make my bed one day. And yes, I lost my they them though, VL. My they them plant instead. It dried out. Well, it's not my birthday now, Shannon. My birthday was in July. I'm a Leo, not a Virgo. Have to make that clear. Just kidding. Have to be so clear. I'm just kidding. Las Vegas sun is really too bright for plants, especially in the summer, but really all year. My brother made a greenhouse. Oh, nice. Captain Save a Plant. Your Photonia died too. They're really tough. And I didn't tell my mom to water. And when I went to LA, like all my plants were like horrifically dying when I got back. So I was like, ooh, I was like, I'm not a good plant mom. I neglected all of them. And I felt bad. But as soon as I got back, like I started, like I watered all of them and I was like, oh my God. So now they're like all in, like a lot of them are in recovery now. They're in recovery. I'm like, ooh. But you know, it was very Jupiter square Saturn for my poor plants. They're all dealing with that. But you know, we don't always have them all live, you know. I've had some that have died. So some make it, some don't. You can't feel bad about it because you gotta just process and live and whatever. And whatever happens, happens. Oh my God. Oh my God. Good gravy. I would honestly, I probably would stream with him again if he wanted to, just for the content. If he wants to, I would. But as far as that, we were never together. Love that I have to answer that still so many years later. We were never together. Nothing ever happened. They were also struggling in the Biden environment. Yeah, well, yeah, the harsh summer. It's harsh. That August energy was harsh. It was a little rough. Oh my gosh. Wow. That can be up to someone else. Oh, hey, Charlie. But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, someone else can do that. I'm not Charlie's type. You guys can chill. I don't think he's not necessarily mine either. Like I told you. And it wasn't meant to be offensive, Charlie, at all. For the record, it's not offensive. Okay. I'm not like, I have a very specific type. So that's all I can say. It's not offensive. I'm introverted and I am very specific in what I like. I always loved August until this year. I know. It was rough. It was really rough. Like my I don't know, my whole like I don't know. It was a lot. Like August was a lot this year. And I had to do like all this freaking stuff and I had to keep it together. Yes, it is kneading. Kneading. It's knitting. Charlie's content just confuses me. I can't watch it anymore. It's just weird. I've started to watch. I got into it. I'm not going to lie, which I know Charlie's here, but I'm going to say, like, when you guys were fighting on that stream, I could not look away. Like, I was totally sucked in. I was like, oh my God. I know that's like really toxic to say, but I could not look away from it. And I don't mean to incentivize that, but I could not. I was like trying to film because I had to film for my channel, my other channel, and I could not. It was just like riveting. Like I was watching like both at the same time. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, it was good. It was good content, even if it was toxic. We love toxic content. No, I'm just kidding. That's horrible. But anyway, so, but yeah, I don't know what that means, good gravy, but yeah, I'm just living life, chugging along, trying to figure all this out. So yeah, we need to keep on keeping on. I hope I can get past this freaking thing. I sing Surfing USA. Oh my God. I just hope that we can all be better because I want to get over this like morbid side because I'm so sick of these psychological effects of weight loss. They're awful. And they are better, but it's still so much a thing. And I'm just like, ugh, I hate it so much. So I want to get past that. And I think when I get out of morbid, I think it will be different. I haven't been not morbidly obese in literally like 15 years or like almost 20 years or something. Like I think I was morbid when I was in 5th grade. So I don't even know what's to come. But it should be interesting. I want more positive. Tired of the toxicity of the last few years. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. I mean, I liked the toxic content. Like I said, I still have like a toxic side, but I also like some positivity too. So I'm kind of like both, I guess, a little bit of both. But I think like, especially in my life, like it's been nice to not be fighting and stuff as much because I was so always fighting, you know, I was in that mode all the time. But I think sometimes you get like, sometimes you can get into that cycle where it's like I know for me, this is just, I'm speaking from my experience. I had that like, oh gosh, like I don't know how I can be interesting if I'm not a mess or something like that. Like I felt that way before, or I used to feel like I had an incentive to just be falling apart. But I've learned like the further I've gotten along, you can be like, you can definitely like be more creative, basically. Like you can find other ways of being creative. And that took me a long time to figure out. But yeah, well, you know my moon. Yes, that's true, Sin, which we definitely need to. I want to have another chat with you and Lisa at some point. That was fun. That was a fun chat. But yeah, I'm just trying to be open and gracious and whatever, but it's tough. I know, I loved it too. It was fun. I like Sin's like esoteric. I know, Charlie. control toxicity. Yeah, it's definitely tough. It is tough. I mean, I understand that, like, from a branding standpoint. It's because it is kind of your brand. I know that's bad to say, but it is kind of your brand. So I totally get like why it would be hard. Like for a long time, I didn't really have much of a brand because my other channel for a long time was just like a personal bitching channel where I would just get on there and bitch about everything. I will. But basically, I obviously that brand was not going to be popular because it's just a fat ass sitting and bitching about everything. But when I didn't have anything to bitch about, which was like last year, it was tough. I was like, ooh, I don't know what to do. So these are the cards that I have. They're just the basic, I think it's like the writer's deck or whatever, it's just basic. And then this is what they look like on that side. I think it's just the classical deck. But Newly got me this, which they say you're not supposed to buy your own. So I didn't. But I have done a ton of like relationship or like love readings for myself with these, kind of an embarrassing amount of time. Like an embarrassing amount of times. So I feel like, yeah, I really only use one. I have another one, but I don't really use it because I don't know how to interpret it. Because I feel like different decks are a little different. But this one's really gay, which Newly also got me. This is the cat tarot. It's really gay. I think it's funny because it has that. I don't know what a moonchild is, so I don't think so. But this is, they're kind of cute and funny, but I think this deck is like a little bit lighter of a deck. Like, I don't think it's as serious. So it's kind of more cutesy in my opinion, but I feel like and then I have one more, which my friend, Mysterious got me, but I'm not sure where it is. It might be in storage. Yeah, I think it's in storage right now. I'm going to have to get it out though. I should get it out because that one was really nice actually. He sent me that one. But it's like, it's one of those decks where it's so nice, I don't want to use it. Does that make sense? But I can see if it's easily accessible. But yeah, other than that, that's all I have is those three. I'll just check this in. No, I don't think it's in that one. Yeah, I'll have to look for it. I'll try to get it out later. And then this is my prayer journal that I use, which I do kind of like. Yeah, it's not in there either. I use this prayer journal. Prayer journal is really gay. It's like for sisterhood or something. It's really gay. Who's the author of the cat deck? I'm not sure. It's manufactured in China. That's good to know. I don't know if it says, but I'm sure if you look it up, it's just the cat tarot. I'm sure it'll come up. Oh, Megan Lynn Kott, Kott. So that's who illustrated it. YouTube pick a card readings are pretty addictive. I know. Well, I was watching this one guy, but if you open them on stream for a metaphysical company, maybe I can. It would be on this channel though, which I don't know how much publicity there is, but maybe. I'll consider it for sure. But yeah, I think it's cool that you guys are doing that shot. But yeah, I use this for my prayer journal, which this is whenever I'm like, I need to just communicate directly with God, like full blown, but it's kind of intense for me. So I will use the deck to kind of do my own intuition. But whenever I need to just like, where I'm just like, God, I'm freaking lost. No problem. Oh, I got to write $20. Right. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Charlie. But yeah, so I do that sometimes too, but it's kind of intense. So I don't do it all that often, but this is where I write that down, and then I can look at it later. But yeah, I was looking at this one person's reading online, or these readings online, but for some reason, I think when people do readings online, it's like they can pick up on different energy lines. And I feel like they just like, they go to like, I don't know, like for some reason, that one guy, he would always pick up on the situation with my ex. And then it's like, I would try to listen to it from the perspective of like my crush that I currently have to kind of see. But it would always end up being about my ex. And so I had to stop watching him. I was like, okay, like I'm over that. I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, I'm just done. So it would be that kind of thing, basically, where I was just like, no. So I had to stop watching him. But he was kind of a dick. He's an Aries. He's kind of a dick. He's always like fighting with his audience, which is funny. But I mean, yeah, it's fun to fight with your audience sometimes, but I'm just not in that mode right now. I think because I'm like really raw. But yeah, so anyways, that's my thoughts on that stuff, is I feel like it's kind of like readings like that, where it's like pick a card or whatever. Like you kind of just have to find somebody who resonates with you, because they kind of pick up on those kind of energy lines. And like I said, that psychic or whatever, he would really pick up on the situation with me and my ex. And like I said, it's still like, if I were to watch another one, it would be about my ex again. And I could literally watch the Aries one, which my ex was an Aries, and it would be about me too. Like it was crazy. But like I said, it's past, it's done. So I don't watch him anymore. So, because it's no longer relevant, in my opinion. So you move on, And I think that's what a lot of people don't get about that, because they can be like, oh, you're really like, hello, Lisa. They can be like, oh, you're really on point, but then they're not on point anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to kind of figure that out, because it's a lot, if that makes sense. You have to like be willing to shift. Like, and I found one astrologer that is really good, and he's very good, where he looks at things that I don't look at. So I really appreciate his perspective a lot, because I am an astrologer. Like I definitely would consider myself one, but I don't know one person can see everything. So yeah, it's a lot. So you have to kind of just consider it, and it's difficult. Even the Bible says like it's very difficult to listen to readings and stuff, and like you can be lost and just like not really find the right person. So it is challenging for sure, but that's why you're not supposed to, in my opinion, those kinds of things shouldn't be your religion. Like it should be just like different. It's like a different vibe, because like I definitely, like I said, for me personally, I consider myself, I'm between a Christian and a spiritualist. So I'm like a spiritualist Christian or a Christian spiritualist. I just learned from the internet, good gravy. So having a blend of those two, that's where I sit religiously. So there are a lot of spiritualist concepts that I agree with. And then there's obviously, I am Christian though, because I believe in Jesus and that he died and rose again and that kind of stuff. So I am a Christian, which some spiritualists are not. But yeah, like that's why I do tarot or astrology or certain things where other Christians might not do that, because I'm not like evangelical at all, for example. That's just not me. So yeah, I feel like sometimes I need to explain that. And then obviously I don't believe being gay is a sin. I don't. So that's where I have like a couple differences there from like a mainline Christian belief. But yeah, because I got a reading from Sam, which Sam is total spiritualist. He's just straight up, and he was really good. So I definitely believe in psychic ability, 100%. I definitely agree with that. Or like I believe in it, but I don't personally, as a Christian, I don't believe in talking to the dead, because I think for me personally, it would lead me to be extremely obsessed with it, because I'm a very obsessive person. And so I think it could get really toxic for me. And then you don't know what you're talking to. And then it can just open up a lot of doors. So I don't judge Sam for doing it, if that makes sense. I'm going to knit sweaters for my cats. That's so funny. There are some good YouTube videos about how to knit for beginners. Yeah, I just found this random gay guy. I know that's funny to say, but he was gay. And I just found him. I think he was like RJ Knits or something. This was back in like 2020. And so I learned the English throw. So the way that I knit, it's English throwing knitting, which there are different styles. But see, I throw. I don't do like the flitting, like I don't do that style. But for me, I like it taking a bit longer anyways, because I don't need to like, I'm not doing this for a job. Like I don't need to like blast through like 5,000 freaking projects in a day. Like for me, is very much, I like doing it. But yeah, I do English throw. So this is English throw style. So they call it throw because you go like this. So it's that kind of style. It's a little bit slower, but I like it because I'm just an English one. Like I knit like a Britishy. I'm Britishy knitting because I like English style because you use this hand with the yarn. Continental, you use the other one. So yeah, there are different styles. I think Lisa does a different style. I knit the Portuguese way. Yeah, yarn over the neck. Okay, yeah. When Jess, Alex, and I get on the phone, our psychic abilities go into overdrive. Yes, that's true. I do have a lot of friends that are psychic, for sure. I would definitely consider Lisa psychic. I do think Jess is psychic too, but she's not practiced. Yeah, Sin is psychic too, for sure. When you call on the dead, fallen angels can impersonate and also demons. I agree with that. So, Mezkin, what does that mean? I'm loom knitting something, simple e-loop on an infinity loop. Okay. I think loom knitting is like that machine, right? I think so. Sometimes you guys distract me on this stream. My dead dog appears in my dreams, but I'm probably just so I can pet her one more time. Oh. Yeah, it's kind of funny because when my cat died, the first one, like when the first one died, because they died within a month apart. When Lola, the younger one, when she died suddenly, I literally told her, it was like right as COVID was starting. And I literally told her, I was like, I don't want you to visit me. I want you to just be happy up there kind of thing. Like, I was like, don't worry about me. Like, this world freaking sucks. It's awful here. Just be happy where you're at kind of thing. And so I do feel like she visited like once and then that was it. So she listened. She was a good girl. She loved me though. And then my other cat, Toby, I think he was just out. He's like, I'm dipping. He wasn't coming back, in my opinion. Yes, true, Doris. Continental is hard on my carpal tunnel. Yeah, well, sometimes, I don't know. Knitting can be a lot anyways. I usually am like knitting like a fiend around Christmas. Lisa says, yes, I don't believe in talking to the dead. I've been contacted by the dead a bunch. Only one time was positive. Yeah, I think for me too. I'm just so Scorpio, and like, I'm not actually a Scorpio, but I'm Scorpio rising, and I get really obsessed. So like, I do a lot of readings. I do a lot of stuff like that. So if I was talking to the dead, I would be doing it a lot. And I know that it would be unhealthy because it's like more dangerous, in my opinion. My dead dog appears in me. I already read that. That's my opinion. So I think a lot of things, it's very like more individual, you know? That's how I see it. And you just, as far as my Christian side, it's like you do the best you can. You know, that's kind of what it's about. It's doing the best you can. My dog does come to me. Oh, maybe knitting can be your new side hustle. Yeah, right. I'm never going to be knitting that fast, Caleb. Like, shh. be like Carlin, and just like, I'm not going to do all that. I've been knitting this way for years and I like it. So I'm not going to change. That's the thing too. A lot of times when you start knitting, you never want to change the way you did it. So I learned English throw, so I will probably do English throw forever. Let me see. My corgi is in my dreams every luteal phase. I love it. It's been a few years and it used to break my heart, but now I just love it. Oh. There are machines, but I'm doing the simple circle with pegs, except infinity loom is just a longer. Okay. Oh. Doing the best you can to be Christ, but none of us can be Christ, which is why we ask for forgiveness. Yeah. Life is just a matter of doing the best we can. Right. I agree, Doris. Auction those few scarves off. A Graphically Alex original scarf. Oh my gosh. I'm so like selfish with my knitting though. It's bad. Like I am knitting this for my cousin, which is nice. But I usually have somebody in mind and I really want to do another red scarf really bad because of Taylor Swift, which I know is cringe. But I want to do another one because this one curls. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my god, I cannot find it. Dang, did I like burn it or something? Where is it? Oh, you know what? I think it's downstairs. I did all that for nothing. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm not going downstairs for it. But I want to do another one with this color because this is the one that I wear that I wore in Target last year and everyone acted like I was a walking pride flag. I'm going to wear it again this year though. I don't give a shit. So, but I love this color on me. It's cranberry. It's cranberry. I really drew my past pets. Yeah. I think it's just, I don't really anymore. Because like I said, I want them to just be happy where they're at kind of thing. That's my opinion. But especially because they died during COVID and all that, it was just so horrible here. I was just like, just go be happy somewhere else, basically. Like, just this world is shit, basically, is how I felt at the time. So, yeah, I think my red one is downstairs. But anyways, I want another red one. And I kind of want to do it in this same style because I like this pattern a lot. It's just kind of simple. It's simple, it looks kind of complicated. So I'd like to do this in a red. So I think that'll be my next one because I want to have it this year because I'm still in my red era. I do believe no one should die alone. Yeah. Yeah. A spring red scarf. Ooh. I wonder what a spring is. Is that like a tomato red? Probably. Tomatoey, like a Trump hat. I love that Trump has a freaking tomato red hat. It's a spring red. It's kind of funny to me, but especially because he's orange, so it works. He chose one that works with his orange skin. When Regan in The Exorcist played by the Ouija board by spirit. Yeah, I don't do Ouija. I don't do that. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't mess with stuff, and I'm very guarded in general. So I think a lot of times, as introverted as I am, like in real life, so to speak, or in the physical world, I'm just as introverted spiritually. So I'm very closed off. And so I don't get stuff like that a lot. And I don't want it. So I definitely put out that energy of like, stay away, basically. So I think for the most part, I usually don't have any interaction with like dead people, if that makes sense. Like hardly, it's almost never because I just have such a freaking like type of vibe. But I think when it comes to other kinds of stuff, like darker things or maybe light things, like angels or demons, that kind of thing, it's a little bit different because they don't really care sometimes. But yeah, but it's not very often. It's very, very rare that happens to me. It's usually when the veil is very thin, which it's not always that thin. So it happened in March of this year that the veil was very thin. It happened in 2022, also super thin veil all year. And then the only other times where it happened more was when I was near death, when I was dying. So when you're kind of dying, you will experience certain things. But yeah, most people do not know how to close portals, by the way, so they get followed. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mess with things. I have to have one of those hard combos in like 5 minutes, and I absolutely need this done with chatting. Oh, no problem. It was so hard adjusting since they were always on my shoulder most of the day. Let me see what you said. Probably the birds. Yeah, Caleb, I'm sorry. He's working. Some of us work. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, he has to work. I get it. I get the hustling life. I have to hustle too, but I'm good for now. But I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. But I'm good for now. Bright spring is coral, tomato, poppy, scarlet, watermelon, strawberry, and geranium. I would like a poppy red. Poppy. Interesting. Yeah, I want to knit something for my mom. I want to do like a winter scarf soon. I can barely interact with the living. Let's not have the dead. Honestly, like I said, as introverted as I am physically in the physical plane, I'm the same in the spiritual plane. So I'm very like, don't talk to me, So I have that vibe very strong. Like it was only the one time when I was trying to do a past life meditation where I interacted with the dead. And it wasn't a negative experience at all. It was actually kind of positive. I don't want to get into it because it was like really political, which is kind of funny. But I don't want to get all up in that. But yeah, it was somebody who was political. It's basically somebody who had political struggles in their lifetime and was basically telling me to like speak up and fight back. Basically, because I was in my political activist era. And that was really what spoke to me. So I was like, okay, interesting. So it wasn't a negative experience at all, but it could have been. And I was like, ooh, that was risky, So, because that was a time when I was opening up kind of thing in the meditation, because I'm so closed off most of the time. No, Doris, but okay, if you want to know, basically it was a Black woman who was born right when slavery ended. So she was born right as slavery ended, which makes sense because I live in the South. I'm in Alabama, right? So it makes sense. But basically, she hated the Democrats as much as I did at the time. And she basically said, don't let them ruin your rights, basically. She was talking to me from like a gay perspective because I think she felt connected because she was born at a time when, there was a little bit less discrimination of Black people because slavery was over. And I was born at a time where there's less discrimination against gay people. So I was born like right when gay bashings were going to stop. So I think she felt like a camaraderie with me on that political level because I was so hyper politicized at the time that it makes sense that that's, the kind of dead person I would attract is somebody very political. And she basically said that she was communicating through, like impressions. So what she was basically saying is, I couldn't speak up when I was alive. I felt so held back or like I couldn't say things and I want you to speak up, basically. So she was telling me like, you speak up because I couldn't fight back. But she basically hated the Democrats. Yeah. And so we connected on our hatred. That's basically what it was, which I didn't want to say all that, but I do think the state of mind you're in when you do that, it does like attract something similar to you, if that makes sense, So that was an interesting experience. It wasn't negative. Like it did make me feel motivated you know, at the time. But yeah, it's kind of funny to say, but yeah. Oh, no problem. No problem. Good gravy. But yeah, definitely during Reconstruction, yeah. Like she and I envisioned like how she dressed and then I looked it up after and it was like during the 1890s. So that's like when she was an adult, was during that time. It was very interesting. So it was super interesting. But yeah, craziness. But that was the only time. So I'm not one of those people where I'm like, oh, I always experience things. I don't. But I don't look for it. I don't go to haunted places. I don't, I've had my a little bit of adventures with that because I do feel vibes and stuff. Like the kind of psychic that I am, it's called claircognizant. So it has to do with a knowing. So I don't feel things emotionally. With the caveat of, I feel like I've started to become more empathetic or empathic as I've gotten healthier. And so I found that when I'm very sexually attracted to somebody, I can feel their feelings. So I think it's in rare circumstances because I'm not like deeply sexually attracted to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing where I can kind of feel that person's feelings, which that's new. But again, I actively practice. Like I am working on my psychic abilities a lot this year. I don't know why. I mean, call it an eighth house Jupiter transit, I guess. But I've been actively working at it, especially with tarot. I've been really doing tarot a lot. And I think I've gotten good at it, to be honest. Like I'm getting better at it. But it's kind of like, yeah, I use it more to get in touch with my own intuition. I don't particularly like, I feel like when I'm asking a question, I'm asking myself. So I don't use it to talk to something else typically, because it's like a way of trying to develop my own intuition, my own ability, basically, because I'm getting healthier and stuff. So it's like I have a bit more of an ability. But yeah, so it's super interesting. But yeah, I don't want to communicate with dead and stuff. I'm very much like Doris. Like I don't like talking to people anyways. So I don't want to talk to the dead. Basically, I feel like exactly the same. So yeah, well, I love horror movies, Sin. I love them. But I think for me, I just like them because a lot of times they're kind of bitchy and gay. Like the drama in them is like really gay. So I love that. And then it's a good distraction from things a lot of the time. So I like them for that reason. And they're just very stimulating. So that's why I like horror movies. But yeah, fun times. Super, super fun. But yeah, I think that tarot movie is going to be really gay. So we're probably just, and I also like to make fun of them while I'm watching them. That's why I like watching them with Eric, because I like to like talk shit about the people. And like me and Eric like to watch them and be like, oh, that's you, or, that's this person we know, that kind of thing. So we kind of like really sass it up and make it really gay while we watch them. It's just funny. So I like to watch them when it's not taken super seriously, because I'm not really like a movie person where I'm like, oh my God, I have to see this movie and like I have to watch this so seriously. Like I'm not usually like that. I like to like make fun of them as they're going on, kind of thing, and like to talk shit about the characters and that kind of thing, because it's fun. So for me, that's like all of it. Yeah, best comedy is a cheesy horror movie. Yes. I think it's because I was obsessed with Scary Movie when I was younger. So I just love it. I love it so much to watch them. Like we were watching Saw and it was just like we're just talking shit about everyone and it's like, oh yeah, he's daddy, or oh, that person's not attractive, that kind of thing. It's like it's all there. Like it's hilarious. Like Eric was super into the doctor from the first Saw movie. And I was super stimulated by Adam in the first Saw movie, which is really cringe. But I was just like, oh my gosh, he's just I'm so attracted to him. So it's kind of funny when we do that too. But it's just like gay, you know? It's very gay, super gayified. Why doesn't anyone ever wear running shoes? A killer on the loose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I love the like there's a lot of horror movies where there's a trope of like, there's a mom, there's like a new mother that she just had a baby or she has like a baby or she's about to have a baby or something. And she's like super stupid and she cannot like get anything together. Like there's a lot of horror movies where it's like just the horrible mom horror movie or like the new mother that cannot get a grip. They do a lot of horror movies like that. And then we watched so many of them that we're starting to see trends because we've been watching a lot of them on Netflix. And it's like there's a lot of horror movies that have shit in them too. So there's a lot of like poop stuff in horror movies. And I get really disgusted because I am not at all into that whatsoever. It really grosses me out. And there's also a lot of times like fetishy stuff in horror movies too, which we've seen that. So it's kind of nasty. So there's a lot of freaks that make these movies too. Just saying. Because when you watch like as many as we've watched, you see trends. So it's like, it gets really nasty sometimes. And I'm like, ugh. But we watched this one called There's Someone in the House or something like that. There's somebody in your house. And it was the most weird. It was like made in 2019. It was a super SJW movie. Like it was so cringe, like super like Netflix SJW levels. And like I was shocked. Like me and Eric were both kind of shocked at how like ridiculous it was. It was so weird and it didn't make any sense. And the writing was so bad. And like the villain was like, he was the privileged white man kind of thing. And he's like, people just think because I have privilege that whatever, and everyone hates me because I have privilege. But like, it didn't make any sense because like in another part of the movie, like he threw a party and everybody went to it and it seemed like everyone was fine with him. It just didn't make any sense. It was literally like he was a killer because he was rich and privileged. It just didn't make any sense. It was so stupid. It was so bad. But the sets are really good. The acting was good. Like sometimes they just really fart out on the writing because the writing just really fell flat in that. Where like the kind of like light SJW movie that me and Eric kind of did like is we like the Fear Street ones, but we called it Queer Street because the main character is lesbian. So, and they made like a huge deal about the fact that she's a lesbian. You know, it's like, she's a lesbian, you guys. She's a lesbian. Did you know she's a lesbian? She is lesbian. Like, it was very, like, one of the most aggressively lesbianic movies I've ever seen. And it's like, we get it. She's a lesbian, you know, but we're trying to watch a horror movie. Like, I want to see the other stuff, but there was still a decent story. But that was like 2021, you know, when that movie came out. So it was like a little bit later. But yeah, I think peak SJW was probably like 2019, 2020. Lots of perverse and subversive stuff in there because people don't take the genre seriously. True. Very true. Especially in sequels and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, it was so nasty. We watched this like, oh my gosh, Caleb. What are you going to do, Caleb? We watched this like really horrid like The Descent, which The Descent, it's like all these women and they're like going in caves and stuff and there's like these creatures down there. We watched the sequel and one of the creatures literally took a shit on two of the women characters and I was like, that is fetishy, that is disgusting. And it was so gross. It was so nasty. And it's like burned into my brain now. And I hate it so much. And I told Eric, because Eric's the one that chose it. I was like, fuck you, Eric. Fuck you. I wanted to throw up so bad after watching that. The lesbian movie is, it's called Fear Street. And there's 3 of them. They're actually decent. They're always super gorgeous women in them too. Yeah, especially the older school ones for sure. Nowadays, they try to be like, you know, there's usually like a lot of fat people in them and stuff, which I don't really care. especially like a Netflix one, because they're like trying to like, you know, I don't know. Netflix is always trying to be super inclusive or whatever. But yeah, the Fear Street, yeah, it was decent. They were pretty good actually. Like we watched all three of them, so that's pretty good. Oh, planning a lot of plans. Oh yeah, Caleb has a side hustle going on, which is cool. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. So yeah, we're gonna watch Tarot. It's probably gonna be super fucking gay. It's probably gonna be like the most trash, gay, bullshit movie ever. But the whole time Eric's gonna be making fun of me and being like, "That's you, that's you, that's you." So the whole movie is gonna be about, like, it's gonna be a movie about me, basically. Which that's how we watch them, and we have a lot of fun with that. So it's fun. It's really fun. So, because it's fun. I like not taking it seriously, but it's a great distraction. And I'm gonna be so freaking like, I'm gonna be so probably serotonin-y because I'm gonna go up in legs, like I told you, tomorrow. So on Monday night, I'm gonna be like, I call it gagging. When the serotonin's really high, it's like I'm gagged. I'm like, and I get really obsessive and weird, and I'm just like this. That's like how I feel emotionally, is like this. And so I'm gonna watch it, and we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, da, da, da. So it's fun. We just watch them on the phone. We watch them on the phone, and then it's like, pause it, or I got an ad. You know, it's that kind of gay thing. Weekend at Bernie's, okay. Why don't you make a horror movie? Because that's a lot of work. I don't know if I could. I never really wrote horror. Like I think I had one story that I wrote that was technically a horror story. But I'm just more like, when I wrote, I was a very emotional writer. So it was very emotion based, more drama than anything. Why don't you make a horror movie as a side hustle? Oh, I already read that. You can be the main character for real then. Oh my gosh. My life is a horror movie. It's enough. I'm just kidding. There's enough going on, Caleb, okay? We live in a horror movie every day, and it's called the Biden economy, okay? We're all dealing with it every day. So that's enough of a horror story. No, I'm just kidding. But damn. Get Eric to write it for you. Oh my god. I love horror. I did watch, we watched Black Mirror one time though. We did watch that. And I watched the Joan is Awful one. Fat Broken Single. Yeah. Well, I always said if I ever wrote a memoir, it would be called Fat Bitch on the Side of the Road, basically. That's basically what I would call it. So that would be my memoir at this point. Which Eric reminded me of that. I forgot that. I don't think that'll be the book that we write together, Lisa, because you're not going to want to call it Fat Bitch on the Side of the Road. But basically, Fat Broken Single would basically be the story of it. Yeah. Oh my god. It's my life. It's really fun. You know, I really have the most glamorous life, you guys. Like, really super glamorous. I wish I could record some of my interactions with customers because they're so bad. Like, you guys would probably die of laughter because it's really bad. But I'd message Lisa every time I have like a horrific interaction. I love that. Special edition. Yeah, it could be a special edition. That's true. A fat bitch on the side of the road. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you guys saw me interact with people, you'd be like, oh my god, he's so rude, or like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, that's basically what people would say. They'd be like, wow, you're so rude, or you're so like, because I don't talk, or like I try to cut things short. I remember this one time, this guy that I was talking to, he was not like, it wasn't romantic or anything, it was just a friend. But I remember back in like 2014, I would hang out with him like at the mall and stuff. and the cashier would like try to make conversation with me. And he was very extroverted. And he was like, you have to be extroverted, kind of extrovert. And so I was talking to the cashier, or like the cashier would talk to me and I'd be like, yeah, yep, like very curt. And he was like, you can't respond like that. He's like, you have to like talk, you have to say like this so that you can keep the conversation going. He's like, the way you're talking, you're like cutting off the conversation. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. It's like, that's exactly right. That's what I want to do. I want to cut off the conversation. I don't want to talk. But yeah, that was funny. Some people just don't understand. I think he was an Enneagram 6, by the way. Yeah. Well, but he was like into parkour, and he would like, he was one of those where like, he was a Leo, by the way, which is funny to think about, but he would like jump up on stuff and like do like handstands and like random stuff like that. He was like very athletic, and he would say like some fat phobic things to me at the time. Like I remember one time he's like, wow, he's like, I'm so surprised because, which I say fat phobic in quotes because you guys know I don't really like that term. But anyways, he's like, I'm so surprised. He's like, none of my other friends ever want to do anything active with me because like they won't go on a walk with him, they won't do like a hike or anything. And he's like, I'm kind of shocked. He's like, because you're big, but you'll still do it. And I was like, well, yeah. I was like, because I have energy and I'm not dead, basically. Because I was young then. That was 2014. But it was funny because that's true. Like a lot of people don't do anything. But he was very, like I said, he was very active. He would literally like flip up on stuff and like jump and do parkour like all the time. I feel like he's the type of person that would do Urban X. But yeah, it was a lot. I was not flipping around and doing all that whatsoever, obviously. But I was just like, there for the combos. And I was very like, I was super emotional. So back then, I always wanted to have an emotional conversation. I always wanted to be emotional. That was like my thing back then. Now I'm like, ew, shut up, Caleb says introvert's favorite words. Okay, wow, that's nice, that's good, etc. Yep. How do you handle the conversations at work, Caleb? I'm curious. And do you consider yourself more extroverted or introverted or in between, Caleb? Because I think being a waiter, that's tough for an introvert. Like my cousin did it, which my cousin is super introverted. And she did it, but she's an Enneagram 5 INTJ. She was like the worst. Like she has the worst facial expressions. She'd be like, yeah, so what do you guys want? Like, I don't even think I can do her expression. Like you guys cannot even. But she was not the best waitress because she did not have any, like, it was just so like, so what do you guys want? And like, just stank face like all the time. Like she can't help it. But I don't know. People really trip out, or they don't trip out, but they don't understand like INTJ females. It's tough for people to understand because there's like no emotional expression. It's like zero. It's like almost none. Especially with her because she's an Enneagram 5. I think with Carlin's an INTJ, but she's so close to being a feeler. And she's an Enneagram 4, like me and Sin, but she's a 4-wing 3. So she still comes across as more emotional. Like an Enneagram 5 INTJ woman, it's like no emotion whatsoever. It depends on the person. If I vibe with you, I will talk. If I feel you're being rude or I don't like you, I won't talk that much. Okay, that's fair. They don't understand. Oh, you're saying INTP, I'm sure. That freaking heart is in my way. Ooh. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm messing up my chat. Yeah, INTP. Yeah. INTP. Plus, like, I think like an ISF or ISTP, INTP 4, it's intense. They're very, very intense. A lot of people don't understand that because there is like an emotional intensity within a thinker. It can happen. I'm also an INTJ. There you go. You get it. You get it, Goblin. You're probably a 5 too, to be honest. I would not be shocked if you were a 5. Many people have told me that my expression is very monotone. Okay. I love that. I love that. I still have yet to hear Caleb speak. I've never heard it. I've never heard the monotone. I hate the heart. I know the heart it just ruins lives. It really does. It ruins everyone's lives. She's like 49, 5, 51, 4. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, bot is definitely a 5, 100 billion, 1,000%. Yeah, Lisa has like no emotion, but she can wear a smile on her face. I do well. I get good tips. I think I'm friendly enough. Right. Right. Caleb tries to weaponize his looks on gay customers. That's what he does. He tries to weaponize his Gen Z daddy vibes on on older gays at the restaurant. That's what he told me. I don't remember my Enneagram, but I joke around a lot, so I don't know how people perceive me. I would say probably 5, like honestly. Like you're really giving 5. You probably at least have a wing, I would say. Especially if you're introverted. I'm one of those that are probably 4 or 5 balance, right? I am too, Sin. We're similar. I'm very close to being a 5, but I'm not. As I told you, I was researching and then I got triggered by my own research, which is not something a 5 would ever be triggered by. Like they would never. But that's me. I'm not going to share the story because it's embarrassing as hell. But yeah, I get triggered by my own research. And then it's the same thing when I used to like debate politics and religion and stuff, which is very 5. I would get triggered by the conversation. So it would always get in my way. It's like the 4ism, it's still dominant. It takes over because I get triggered or I would get like really mad. Yeah. Well, you're a 4 as well, Sin. Caleb says sometimes if I'm really impatient or irritated, it is so hard to hide it from the customer and they can kind of tell I'm irritated. Oh, I love that. I love that. Caleb might have a slight reactivity. That's a little bit of reactivity. I don't like dealing with customers, but I can. I just hate it. I mean, I have the INFJ vibe, so I can definitely be like, hey, I can do the fake thing or kind of, not really fake, but I can be kind of sociable. Like, and I could handle customers. Like I could have like I had a good bedside manner. They used to say like when I did the call center, I had a good voice. Like I could talk and be like, hi, how can I help you today? And blah, blah, blah. Like I could do that kind of stuff very well, but I hated it. And it like practically killed me to do it. And then I'd have to deal with people being nasty and I'd have to not be reactive. And I'm very reactive. So it's tough. I don't like debating. Yeah. Caleb says, I also have my days. Some days I'm just not interested in conversation at all, but I always talk way too much to my regular customers. Okay. Yeah, you probably, yeah. And you could always be, I think Caleb's probably either Enneagram 1 or a 6. So you could be one of those, which they can both be kind of ambiverted. Like they're kind of in between more so. Because some Enneagrams, they're more extroverted. Like a 7 is like the most extroverted of all. A 3 is extroverted. But then there's some that are introverted, like a 4 is introverted, a 5 is introverted. A 5 is the most introverted of all. So it's like, but like 6s and 1s, they're kind of in between. They're a little bit more in between. If someone wants to debate, I say we do not have the same views, and then they see my back as I leave. LOL, that's funny. Do customer service, but it takes out of me like crazy. Yeah. I hate it. I hate it. I mean, I hate it because for me, it's like I couldn't stand like talking to people as a job. Like I hated it. Like, I'm okay with YouTube because it's a little bit different. You have a bit more control. Like, I can choose to go live, for example, or I can choose not to. But when you have to work for like 8 hours and it's like you have to be talking from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, it's awful. It feels like I'm absolutely selling my soul. Like, it is just horrible. And that's why people don't get, because I've had a lot of people be like, oh, well, you should totally just get a normal job and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I could get a normal job, but then I have to quit YouTube because I cannot do both. Because I can't have a moment where I'm interacting with customers and doing all that all day. And then I'm not going to want to come back and be live or film, because I'm going to use all that energy there, because our economy sucks and we don't have any, like, we're starting to get manufacturing and stuff back, but there isn't a lot of introvert jobs that are like normal jobs. They're almost always extroverted because we're a service economy, which is crap. And it needs to change. That's also why I'm voting differently in this election. I'm not going to vote for who's in charge right now because they suck. But it's like we need a different kind of economy where there are jobs for introverts within it, because there isn't any. And I hate customer service jobs. Like, you do not believe it. Like, and I know like extroverts are like, yeah, it can be rough. Da, da, da. It's like, no, you don't get it. You don't get how horrible it is. Like, it's truly like, it is the worst nightmare situation for an introvert to do a customer service job. Like, it is awful. It takes a lot out of us. And it's like, and then they say, oh, well, you're just lazy. Because then you have a lot of threes that are like, well, you're just lazy. You just don't want to work. And it's like, no. I work very hard, but I work alone. I work alone. I don't work talking to people. I'm not like a group project person. I'm an introverted person. I like to do my own work. It's like, no. So that frustrates me too, but it's like, no, like if there was, I probably would have been fine working in a factory or something like that, something where I don't have to talk to people. And it's like, think about how many jobs there are in America where you don't have to talk to people and you see the problem. Think about it. There's almost none. And that's not right. There's so many jobs where you don't have to talk, but they're all outsourced, they're overseas, and it's wrong. So I'm sick of it. It needs to change. I love seeing our regular customers. They make me feel happy inside when my day is terrible. That's sweet. Yes, and they do hate introverts. I hate the place more than the people. That's funny. I hated the group projects in college. Oh my God, I freaking hated it. And like, it would make me want to die when I'd have to work in a group. Like, it absolutely is just so unnatural to me. And I remember like when I was a kid, I used to say that I hated sports, but it wasn't that I hated sports. It was that I hated team sports. I don't like working in a team. Like, I love being in a friend group. I love talking with people and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to work, I don't like working in a group. I hate it. I absolutely abhor it. And that's the same thing with a sport. It's like, I hate working in a group. I just hate it. And it's like, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I do it occasionally on YouTube. Like, I'll do collabs and stuff, but it's difficult to work with people, which is why I typically, as I told Lisa, I will probably only work with threes, because threes are incredibly easy to work with. They're very, very easy to work with. Whereas it's challenging with other types to work with them. Like, it was difficult for me to work with Carlin, for example. It was tough because you're like, it's like a group project. Like, it's difficult. So it's not like personal, it's just, it's difficult. Like, I need somebody extremely easy to work with, which I understand that. I need somebody that's super easy. And I know that I'm not super easy to work with. I'm not the worst to work with. Like, I can show up on time. I can be there, right? I can do this kind of stuff. I can perform when I'm there. But it's like, for me to make that commitment to work with somebody, it would probably only be a 3, basically, because they're going to be very good to work with. Somebody else, it's difficult to work with. It's difficult. So I don't really do it anymore, because it's like, I don't want to have a problem with somebody because I'm having a professional problem. You know what I'm saying? Or because I'm having like a working together issue. Like I'd rather just not have the conflict. Because when I'm not working with somebody, I'm much more easygoing and I'm much more go with the flow. Again, I'm super feminine, you know? Because if somebody is like if I was dating an extrovert and he's like, okay, today I want to do this, I want to go here, I want to go there. If he was like, what do you want to do today? I'd be like, I don't know. I'd probably be like, I don't know. Or if I knew something I wanted to do, I'd be like, I want to do this. I was like, but other than that, I don't care. So it's like I'd be perfectly fine with him leading the day and like taking me from place to place, doing things, planning everything. Like I don't like to plan events and stuff. It drives me insane. Like I can, but I wouldn't want to all the time. That's why like I always say like I'm very into an extroverted guy or I'm into a guy that is more of a leader in that sense, like will lead me, especially in extroverted stuff, because I like to go out and I get bored. But it's like I don't like to plan everything. Like one of my worst nightmares is like planning a trip. I hate it. Like if I was dating somebody and he was like, we're gonna go on this trip and he planned everything, I would love that. That would make me so happy because I'm the type of person where I'm really good at just showing up and going with it, if that makes sense. As long as it's not like massively extroverted. If it was like, we're going to party and we're going to do streaking in the streets today, like I would be like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. But I would go, I would watch other people do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still introverted. So I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I want to go party and like drink, 5 gallons of alcohol and like forget the night. Like I don't want to do that. But in terms of like, we're going to go to this restaurant, we're going to go on this hiking trail, we're going to do this, we're going to go tobogganing or something, we're going to like go skydiving or something. I mean, that'd be crazy if I went skydiving, but I'm just saying like those kinds of activities are like, we're going to go to this store or this shop, we're going to do this, like things that you do on a trip, we're going to do this tour, go here with this museum. Like I would love a partner that planned all that because I hate that. I hate it. Yes, you do, Lisa, which is why, and most threes do, which is probably why I'm going to end up with a 3, because I don't like to do that. And a lot of threes like to, and even 3 men, they like to plan things. They like to organize and do that kind of stuff. That's probably why I will be fine with somebody like that, I'm okay with 2 or 3 people, 4 at the most, but no more. Yeah. I'm good with a large group. Like I can handle it. It can be tiring though. And like the more people that are around, the quieter I will be, if that makes sense. So it's like, if there's 1 or 2 people, I'm going to be talking a lot. If there's 4 people, I'm going to talk a bit less. If there's 5, even less. If there's 6, even less. Like it just gets less and less and less. Like the bigger the group, the quieter I become. And I just start observing and I go into observation mode. And then like if there's a big group, I'll just kind of talk to like 1 or 2 people and be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 like behind the scenes. But I just watch, I just listen to what people are doing in a big group. But I don't like to go to like an amusement park with a huge group because everybody wants to do different things and it gets really annoying. So it just depends on the situation. I have more phone numbers on my phone now than I've ever had before. Oh my God, Caleb. I wonder why, Caleb. Oh my God. It's because you're hoeing yourself out, Caleb. That's why. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's what Caleb told me. He messaged me. He said that he's hoeing himself out. I'm just kidding. Goblin Mode says, I'm introverted and I don't drink, but if there's a streaking involved, I might be down. Well, there you go. 2 introverts went to Weimar, Germany and couldn't decide what they wanted to do, so they wandered the cobblestone streets. Oh, that's cute. Oh, well, yeah, I would be in a different place from years ago. I'm more comfortable with a small group than one-on-one because with the group, I don't really have to talk much. Yeah, of course. That's a good introvert strategy too. But I like one-on-one because I like deep conversations. I'm one of those like stereotypical introverts. It's like, I just like deep conversations. And like when I was younger, I was like, I just like emotional conversations, which is really gay. I will say that I do prefer when the customer initiates the questions and not me. LOL, it's so awkward when I don't come up with anything past hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, I love one-on-one. I do. I adore. I know, Sin. We are the same Enneagram, so we're like a similar wing strength too. But yeah, I mean, the fiveism is real. It's very strong. Yes, I am currently. Yes, I am living with my mom, but yes, I do pay rent. Don't even get me started. Definitely pay rent. We are roomies. I pay rent and utilities. Oh man. Rent, utilities, my own bills, all that. What Enneagrams do fives get along best with? It depends. I think they get along with a lot of different kinds. Like probably like ones, sevens, probably fours as friends, um, threes. I'm the dominant female and you are the submissive male, so we are two sides of the same coin. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's true. It's like I have to pick my brain to find something to talk about, and then it goes blank on the spot. I love that. I love that for you, Caleb. I love to observe that. I think fives and eights, they can get along, but sometimes the fives are scared of the eights, if that makes sense. They can get scared. So it depends. Small talk is basically talking rubbish. Yeah, I can't. If somebody talks small talk, I'm like, yeah, yeah, totally. Like, I'm literally like that. Like, I don't have anything to say. So it's like, and then just wear a smile and stuff. So I can be I can be congenial a bit, you know. I try. But yeah, that's it. That's my advice. Don't be introverted. Don't do anything. Just stay home. I'm just kidding. Don't go out. But I've noticed recently I've had to listen to some of my introvert girly pops sometimes because I can't, like, Taylor doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand certain things. So I've had to listen to Avril Lavigne. I was listening to Paramore a little bit, which she's super introverted. Haley, she's like introverted, but she has a strong three wings. So she's very like she has a lot of charisma for an introvert, but she still gets it. I even listened to Olivia last night. I broke down and listened to Pretty Isn't Pretty. It was bad. I was like, oh, that's bad. But you know, the introvert girlies, they get it. They get things that the extrovert ones don't. Taylor doesn't get it. She just doesn't understand. But sometimes I do talk a lot too. Yeah. I mean, my mom is like, she's super extroverted and she's really good at like the gayest, like most cheesy gay, like small talk ever in person. It drives me insane. Um, but it's literally like it's just so gay. I can't handle it. It drives me nuts. So my mom is such a seven. She is like a seven. She's a seven wing six for sure. But she is such a seven. Like such a seven. She's so extroverted. Like I'll never forget. Like we literally had an argument because she basically as a teenager, she was telling me I was too introverted and we had an argument about it. Like she was worried about me. She was like, when I was your age, like when she was 16, she was like, when I was your age, I would go out. She's like, I would go to school, work two jobs, and then go out and party every night till 2 a.m. and then get up and do it again the next day. And she's like, if you don't do anything, she's like, you just sit in your room. And I was like, mother, that's insane. I would never go to school, have two jobs, and then party every night. That is crazy. I was like, that is like a wild expectation. Like, holy shit. Like, I would die. Like, what the fuck? I mean, she's super extroverted, so it's kind of crazy, you know? That was crazy. And I just couldn't. I couldn't even handle. Um, yes, I have the 5 rabbit holes too. Definitely. I do that sometimes with small talk, but sometimes I do talk a lot too, yeah. I know an extrovert married to an introvert, and he knew how to trigger all the introverts. It's funny for him. Oh my God. My parents and my bro are extroverted. LOL. They used to be like, oh, she's going to her room again. I'm telling you, it's kind of a lot because I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm ambiverted. I'm not whatsoever. I'm just easily bored. Like I'm an easily bored introvert. So I typically like I've had a lot of extrovert friends. Like almost all my friends have been extroverted, or like the majority of them. And like I was always pushed to go out. Like I used to get in arguments. Like one time I got in an argument with one of my friends because I didn't want to go to a movie. And she's like, what? She's like, why don't you want to go to the movie? She's like, you're not doing anything anyways. And she's like, she was really fighting with me. Like my friends used to be like, you have to go because it's different in high school, It's like you have to go. You can't not go. Like you must. And so I would have to be like, pushed to do things sometimes. But it was good for me. So I do think it's good sometimes. But it was like that was like a thing. Like I even had to help Lisa because she was writing an introvert character. And I can't remember, but like the character, like when her friend wanted her to go to a party and she was like, okay. And I was like, no. I was like, Lisa, there should be some pushback because there's no way in hell she would just go. I'm like, where's the fight? Like, no, I don't want to. Where's that? Yeah. It's like, no, you have to be like practically like when you're introverted in high school, you have to be almost kidnapped to go to a party. Like you have to be like almost kidnapped, bullied to go. Like you have to be guilted, forced. Like it has to not be a choice, right? Like it's a major thing to get them to go, especially if they're like very introverted. I'm alone in my room right now. It's glorious. Me too. It's me and my plants. Yeah, she was coerced. That's the way it should have been. I was like, yeah, they have to be. Because they're not going to just be like, oh, sure, I'm down. Like, never. That'll never happen. No one lives with me. Oh my God. Or just say I'm busy, I'm tired, etc. Right. I'm just like, when it comes to parties and stuff, but do you ever lie or change the subject if the stranger gets too personal? No, because luckily I have introvert privilege and I'm very guarded. So nobody ever asks me anything because I'm like super guarded. I'm very good at that. It happens on live sometimes. I don't really care. But like on the internet, it'll happen because people will just say things. But in person, they hardly ever, like they never ask me anything like that, ever. But I think I might be a little bit intimidating in person, just like a touch. I mean, I'm really gay, but I'm also kind of tall and I have a good stink face, So I'm not like the most approachable to just ask like a random question like that. But it's happened occasionally, but it's not very often. But typically I don't really care that much. I like to dance, so I would go to the dances, but I didn't speak to anyone. That's funny. The chapter added a lot to the story, so it worked. People ask me inappropriate questions all the time. Yes. I think when you're more extroverted, people just feel like they can. I'm more the type of person to ask the inappropriate question. That's more my style, rather than the one having it asked to me. Yeah, it happens to Eric too, but Eric definitely has femmified energy. But yeah, I think it does happen to guys too that are extroverted, for sure. The customers ask you questions all the time. Yeah. I don't know, Caleb. I'm not sure. I mean, you're probably more so in between, for sure. Like you're not super obvious one way or the other, if that makes sense. It depends. But I mean, if you're functioning, but like you said, you struggled a bit when you were working like really full time. You struggled a bit, but you can still do it. Like it's one thing to struggle, it's another thing to be able to do it. Like I think if you were a true blue introvert at 22, being a waiter, just isn't connecting. It's like that's not working because you get better as an introvert, like where you can talk more the older you get. But it's like 21, 22, being a waiter, I'm like, like that's not really giving introvert to me. because it's like when you're introverted at like your teen years or like your 20, like your early 20s, you'd rather die than be a waiter. It's like the most nightmare. It's like a nightmare situation. And it happens, but it's like, it's not like I never would have been able to do that ever. I couldn't do what I'm doing now when I was 20. I couldn't talk. I could not go live or anything. If I was extroverted, I probably would have already made it on YouTube because I would have started like drastically earlier. But the reason I started later is because I'm so introverted. I couldn't do it. I couldn't even really, I did like barely baby steps around 23 years old, but I didn't really start doing YouTube till 2018 when I was 26, 25, 26. That's pretty late to like start, but that's typical for an introvert to start doing more stuff like that post 25 because you start to balance out a bit. It's the same thing with extroverts. They tend to start to reflect a bit more post 25, like you kind of balance out, but because a lot of extroverts, when they're really young, they're just like party, 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 like they're just always out, always doing things all the time. It's like it never stops, right? And then you kind of, as you get older, you start to balance. Whereas like I was introvert, I was like fighting with people on the internet and forums and like researching philosophy and researching Enneagram, personality typing, religion, politics. Like I was in my deep research era. Like I was learning about a lot of things and studying all these things in my room when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, right? Like, and then I would go out occasionally with an extrovert friend and we'd go out like and have adventures too. But I was not constantly having adventures. I was mostly inside, mostly researching, reading, studying, doing that kind of stuff. Like I would research personality typing and Enneagram. Like I would study it for like 4 hours a day, like for months. And same with astrology. Like I learned astrology. I researched astrology for years. And like I would study it, practice it, research it, all this stuff for hours a day. So it's like for me, I was always learning and doing something and like being more introverted and like thinking about philosophy and these kinds of things. That's what I was doing. I was watching YouTubers talking about philosophical concepts. That's what I was doing when I was young. And then of course I was eating like crap. That was kind of like my wildness, was like eating so horribly. That was kind of my ratchet side, is I would eat, but I wouldn't do anything else because I was very like focused on learning things and then trying to figure out what I was going to do in life, basically. Because I'm a very future thinking person too. So it's like, I enjoy looking back at those years where I was really researching and figuring things out and trying to find wisdom and stuff and kind of exploring ideas, which is very introverted. But then, towards 23, 24, 25, I started going out more and having more extroverted experiences because I wanted to be more balanced because I was so off balance. But it was really hard. So it's like, that's where I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if Caleb is introverted. That's my answer, is I don't know. Because that kind of thing, it's like, you're not that introverted if you are, I would say. You might be ambiverted, but you might just be, there is such a thing as being a shy extrovert or not being as, like, it's a spectrum, I tell them that it is none of your business, LOL. I can talk more now, yeah, pretty much. Late bloomers, yeah. You kind of ask the same questions and taking orders, etc., so you get into a rhythm. Yeah, but it's still horrifying. I don't know how to describe it. If you don't get it, then you don't get it. That's fine. That's fine. You don't get it. I mean, just ask Bot. Ask Bot. Ask Goblin. Like, how would you guys feel being a waitress? Ask Sin. How would you feel being a waitress, Sin? I don't hate it, so I guess I'm not. Yeah, you're probably not. I was an explorer. My adventure was we're looking for water tanks. They're sliding down plateaus, outside stuff. Yeah. Well, that's very like 5. That's like your 5 side because that's like I'll never forget, which I don't think Bot minds if I share this, but Bot once said that she was in the desert and there were all these bugs all over her. And she's like by herself. Like that's a very Enneagram 5 thing to do, to have like those outdoor or like adventures by yourself. Like I didn't do that stuff as much, but I have had my moments. Like when I was in Australia, when I went on a trip, I went out hiking by myself, which now I realize was really stupid because there's a lot of poisonous animals where I was. So that was really dumb. But oh well, I guess I was dumb. But yeah, I was by myself. Totally. I used to have a lot of anxiety and people thought I was introverted. It was only when I dealt with my anxiety, people stopped saying that. Yeah. Yeah. And you can have anxiety as an extrovert. You can, it is what it is. Basically, it's like a different thing. Then find out information about the things I saw and felt, all sorts of snakes. Yeah. No waitressing. See, Bot's like, I could never be a waitress. I'm telling you, there's no way. I hate even ordering food. I'm not taking orders. Right? I can order food. I'm not that introverted. Like I can handle that. But it kills me when like it would absolutely murder me to be a waitress or a waiter. Sorry. Waiter. It would kill me. I would die. Could not handle it. It calms the intro. Oh my God. I would dread every single work day. I could do it, but I'd hate it and be exhausted. Yeah. It would be horrible. Like, I don't even think I could pretend to do it. Like, even doing the call center, it was awful. Like, I hated it to my fucking core. Like, I hated the job. Like, I hated it so much. You do not even know how much I hated that job. Like, it drove me insane, but I did it. But I did it to survive. I had to. But it was awful. And my health deteriorated. That is a part of why my health was so bad in 2020 because I absolutely hated my job. I hated it. So, yeah. I did cold calling once and spent 14 hours sleeping to get my energy back. Yeah, it's a nightmare. If I was a waitress, people would think I was so awkward and probably think I was rude. I love that. See? So I don't think Caleb's introverted. Phone calls aren't face-to-face. I think being a waiter would be worse. Oh, 100%. I wouldn't even consider it. I would not even consider it. Like, it's that much of a thing. The call center, I was like, ooh, like I'm making a deal with the devil. But it's not face-to-face. So it was better. But just barely. It was horrible. But it helped me. It helped me learn how to talk. But I became a better speaker after that. Yeah. I could be a receptionist. That would be fine. As long as it wasn't like constant, I could handle it. But no. Not a good look as a waitress. That's so funny. Yeah. I'm just saying. People don't get it. People don't understand the introvert struggles. Like, people don't understand. You don't get it. Yeah, I'm sure you are, Caleb. Like, it's good to practice. Like, I'm definitely better because I did that job. That's why I can do this better. So help me. It was all for the narrative, I guess. But anyways, you guys, I think I'm going to get going because I do have to actually work today. So I'm going to get going. But thank you guys so much for being here. This was so much fun. I'm so glad I got to be on here and bitch. It was great. I love that. Loved it so much. It's good to see you all too. Thank you, Sin. And I will talk to you guys later. Hope you have a good day. Bye, guys.